All right, here we go. We're back again. Free NFL bets. My name is Eric. Today we will be doing a future bet player prop for the 2021 NFL season. The play is Antonio Brown over 725 and a half receiving yards in the 2021 season. It's minus 112, and I'm putting 2 units on it. I found it on FanDuel. 1 unit for me is typically around 3% of my bankroll. So for this play, I really love it, and I'm going to explain why. So this is one of the most hardworking players in the NFL, Antonio Brown. He's going to turn 33 years old this season, but he always makes sure he's in tip-top shape. It's fitting that I'm wearing my Pittsburgh Steelers shirt for all the viewers on YouTube. I've followed this player since we drafted him in the 6th round. I mean, this guy's work ethic is just unreal. At age 33 this season, he's going to be fine. I doubt he's going to get injured. He's only missed 6 games in his 11-season career when he's been like the starter, the go-to guy. So, I mean, I highly, highly doubt that he's going to have any injury issues this year. Worst case scenario, he misses 3 games. Last season, he only played 8 games, but that was because of the NFL trying to, decide if they want to reinstate him after his 2019, 2020 legal issues and also just personal issues. And if you don't know anything about it, I mean, yeah, well, go look it up. But last season, he started 4 games out of the 8 games because Chris Godwin was injured. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed in Tampa Bay. O.J. Howard's coming back, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, of course. They also have Gronkowski. They just got Gio Bernard, I believe, and they have Leonard Fournette. Ronald Jones isn't much of a pass catching option. I think he only had like 19 catches last season. But Antonio Brown, even with all that last year, he played in 8 games, started only 4, but had 45 catches for 483 yards. A full 16-game season, if he played that last year, he would have had 966 receiving yards. And then in 2021, there's 17 games and a season now. So there's a lot of good things working for us with this player prop future bet. So basically, in order to get this to cash, Brown has to catch 4 catches a game for 43 yards for 17 games. I mean, I love it. That's why I'm putting 2 units on this play. Brown's one of the best receivers of all time. Don't let his personal issues, don't let his persona, him being a problematic teammate at times, throwing tantrums on the sideline in Pittsburgh. He's not the most athletic. I feel like the more athletic receivers like Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, those guys are always like, oh, they're better, he's better, he's better. But Antonio Brown catches the ball and just comes to play better than any receiver. I mean, he is just the epitome of consistency. They always talk about his practice effort as well as his work ethic for training in the off season and during in the season. But he practices harder than anybody else, basically on his team. I mean, for any team he's played on, the Patriots for that brief stint, the Buccaneers last year, and the Steelers. He practices the hardest of any player. Bruce Arians has come out and publicly said that. So kind of potential things that, can make you feel a little bit worried about this play. What about the Bucs defense? Won't this team be in a lot of blowouts and thus not have to pass in the 4th quarter? It's something to think about. I think, they could win by 30 points a game for maybe like 5 games this season. I definitely think that's a possibility. I don't think there's like a huge Super Bowl, what do they call it, hangover. I think Tom Brady's going to have them ready to play. I think they're going to be focused and wanting to go win another one. But even in those blowout games like last year, they were still throwing the ball late in the 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter, like really just trying to put the dagger in it, just like really trying to put the game to bed and win, going away. So I still think Antonio Brown's going to have some chances to catch the ball in the second half. And even in those blowout games, he'll probably still get 2 or 3 receptions in the first half for like 25, 35 yards. So, and again, all we need for him to do is get 43 yards a game. So if he's only getting 30 yards in the first half of a blowout, I mean, that's looking great for us, because then the other 12 games that he plays, that aren't going to be blowouts, that are going to be, back and forth, pretty much the entire game, he's going to get his 43 yards. He's going to get well over 43 yards. I have the utmost faith in that. So the other concern is, but what about Brown only being the third option in Tampa Bay, the third wide receiver? I think that plays to our advantage, because I think the other opposing NFL defenses believe that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are Tom Brady's two go-to guys. So I think they're going to draw the best cornerbacks, leaving Antonio Brown with a mismatch. So I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio Brown leads the team in targets, like maybe 9 out of the 17 games that they play this season. I really, really wouldn't be surprised about that. So yeah, I mean, if they think he's a third option, that's great. But give ourselves more faith in this play, I don't think Tom Brady sees Antonio Brown as his third option. I think Tom Brady looks to see what's going to make the offense work the best. And I don't think he plays favorites. I mean, he definitely likes Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski in the red zone and in the fringe. Let's not even kid ourselves on that. I mean, there's times last year where he's like eyeing Gronkowski. He knows he's throwing to Gronkowski. Like I knew it. Like I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, yeah, he's probably gonna throw to Gronkowski on this play, and he does. But other than that, I'm telling you, Antonio Brown's gonna get his share of looks. Not worried about it one bit. All right, but could he get injured? No. I mean, he's 33 years old. I mean, it's a small concern. Worst case scenario, I really think he misses like 3 games, maybe 4 games at the most. And even if he misses 3 or 4 games, I still think he gets to 726 yards. I'm really not worried about it. I think, again, this is a steal. Some numbers just pop out at me, and that it's a winner. This one popped out to me. Worst case scenario, 63 catches in 14 games for 11.5 yards per catch. 63 catches divided by 14 games is around 4.5 receptions a game. Brown will probably average closer to 5 catches a game. He averaged 5.6 to 5 catches a game last season. So yes, Godwin was injured for 4 of those games that he started out of the Browns' 8 games that he played. But with Godwin healthy, I still think Brown's worst case catches per game won't drop underneath 1 catch of what he averaged last year. So last year, 5.625. 2021, I think worst case, he averages 4.6 catches a game. So basically 4 catches one week, 5 catches the next week, alternate that throughout the entire season. That's looking very likely. Overall, I have Brown projected at 80 catches for around 11.5 yards per catch. He had 10.7 yards per catch last season. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't get quite 11.5 yards per catch. He averaged 10.7 last year, but that was more because they were throwing him a lot of quick screens at the line of scrimmage. I think they still try to do that this season. So, I mean, that might be something to kind of be a little concerned again about. But again, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets 1,000 yards this season. I mean, I have him right at around 900, a little bit over 900. But, I mean, Evans could get injured. Gronkowski could get injured. O.J. Howard could get injured. Chris Godwin as well. Brown is able to take care of his body. He's shown that. So somebody most likely is probably going to get nicked up, and miss some time. And Brown's going to get a lot of catches those games where those players are not playing. I wouldn't be surprised if he has multiple 100-yard receiving weeks. I honestly think that this probably will cash early December. And, you know, the icing on the cake with all this is that Tom Brady and Antonio Brown share a pretty special bond. Both players were taken in the 6th round of the NFL draft, not in the same year, obviously. I mean, Tom Brady's like 44 or something crazy. But they share that. They're veterans. And Brady has let Brown live at his place. I think that was in New England. I think even in Tampa Bay, Antonio Brown stayed at Tom Brady's place. So Brady's taken him in. You know, he's really, really taken him under his wing and said, hey, you know, AB, I got you. I know you have all these, you know, struggles in your life, your personal struggles that you're going through, and all these legal battles that you're going through. But hey, I'll take you in. You know, come stay with me. I'll lift you up. I'll get you right back on the right track. And he did last season. I mean, you could tell. I mean, he was special, very special in the playoffs. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, I'm a little bit of a homer because I'm a Steeler fan and I follow Antonio Brown as one of my favorite players of all time. But he really is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You know, not debatable in my opinion. So yeah, bottom line, with all that said, this bet should cash rather easily. That's why I'm putting 2 units on 725.5 yards. That's just way too low for one of the greatest receivers of all time. You know, you don't start getting below 700 yards receiving until you're like 37, 38 years old. If you're like one of the best wide receivers of all time. I mean, just look at Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, he was getting way over this number at age 33. So yeah, no problem with this at all. Sleep comfortable on this one. We'll have to wait till December. Maybe even get it in November. I mean, I'm that confident in this one. So yeah, hold tight on this one. With that said, if you're on YouTube, thanks for watching. Follow us on all of our social media networks. We're on Twitter, or I'm on Twitter. You know, there's not a we, it's just me doing this. I'm on Twitter. I'm on any podcast you can imagine, Instagram and YouTube as well. Hit subscribe, like the video, share it with friends. Again, it's free NFL bets here, man. Free NFL bets. Please hit the like button. It's free. Helps me spread the word. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.